Hello, my name's John Wadsworth. I'm an astrologer, and I'd like to talk today about a particular astronomical event, a rare and extraordinary astronomical event that occurs this year. On the 5th of June 2012 we have the so-called Venus transit, the transit of Venus across the face of the Sun. This is a rare event. It only occurs in 120-year intervals. And then when it does occur, it occurs twice in an 8-year period. So many people will remember that 8 years ago we had the same thing happen. In June 2004, Venus passed across the face of the Sun. Many of you may have witnessed that event, particularly in the UK. It was visible during the day, during the time of the transit. But it won't occur again after this year until 2133. So I'm assuming that no one alive really today, unless you have extraordinary powers of longevity, will actually be able to witness this event again. So it's a rare and unique opportunity really to be able to see this event. So it has huge astronomical significance in that way. But I believe it also has great astrological significance. And what I mean by that is that we have an opportunity here to participate with the energy of Venus while this transit is going on, in order to bring through some of those Venusian qualities of harmony, of peace, of love, of order, of proportion. I think it's a fantastic opportunity to participate in our rituals, in our ceremonies, just in our consciousness, just in our being aware that this is going on and connecting to it, tuning into it in some way. I'd like to say something about the cycles of Venus, because Venus does something really quite extraordinary. Every 8 years, Venus, and this is why this 8-year period is significant, after 8 years Venus returns to the same point in the sky, the same place in the zodiac that it was 8 years before, or almost exactly the same point. Which is why we get this 8-year cycle of 2 Venus transits, because Venus is returning to almost exactly the same place in the sky where it was 8 years before, and in exactly the same relationship to the Sun. And during that 8-year cycle, Venus makes 10 conjunctions with the Sun. 5 when Venus is the other side of the Sun from the Earth, and 5 when Venus is this side of the Sun from the Earth. In other words, is close to the Earth. So 5 times when it's far away from the Earth on the other side of the Sun, and 5 when it's closer to the Earth, this side of the Sun. But the effect from the Earth is the same. It's a conjunction. We don't see Venus during that period because she's completely with the Sun, and the Sun blocks out our ability to see her. Except when there's a Venus transit, when we actually see her pass in front of the Sun. In other words, when she's this side of the Sun and is in exact alignment with the Sun, so that we can see Venus doing that phenomenon across the Sun. Now, with these 10 conjunctions, Venus, if you plot those 10 conjunctions in terms of where Venus is in the zodiac and how far Venus is from the Earth, what you end up with is a perfect 5-pointed star, a pentagram. In fact, you end up with 2 pentagrams. One pentagram made by the 5 what are called superior conjunctions, the one where she's the other side of the Sun, and a pentagram made up of the 5 inferior conjunctions when she's close to the Earth, between us and the Sun. Now, this is remarkable, isn't it? Because the pentagram is one of Venus's traditional symbols. Venus and the pentagram are almost synonymous. If we study the pentagram, which is an extraordinary shape, an extraordinary and unique geometric form, when we study that, we're actually studying Venus. The two are synonymous, they're one and the same. Now, if that's not enough, Venus also, if we plot out her movements in terms of her distance from the Earth in that 8-year cycle, and her position in the zodiac, if we take those 2 variables, and we plot it out, what we end up with is a perfect 5-petaled rose. Now here is another of Venus's traditional symbols. Even more remarkable is that she creates this 5-petaled rose by drawing hearts. So whenever she comes into the conjunction where she's close to the Earth, she makes a retrograde loop, and this helps to create the 5-petaled rose form, and she does this by drawing hearts. So we have the heart, the rose, and the pentagram, traditional symbols of Venus. And this dance that she does in this 8-year cycle creates this in a perfect symmetrical order. Now, what may even be more remarkable in a way is that we've only really been able to plot this, we've only really been able to perceive this with the advent of modern computers that can actually plot this out as a sort of dot matrix. They can plot out this mandala that she creates. And this has enabled us to see this, and it's revealed in this phenomena symbols that were already associated with Venus, prior to us obviously being able to work this out. There are more remarkable synchronicities. I mean, the synchronicities with Venus are just almost overwhelming. Venus is synonymous with the golden mean. Now, I'm sure most of you have come across the golden mean. This is the way of dividing a line so that the whole and the parts are related to each other in the same way. And it creates a figure 1.618033 and onward, with never recurring numbers to infinity, a bit like pi. This number, it's known as phi, P-H-I, phi. And phi is intricately related to the number 5, which you might guess from its name. And it's intricately related to the pentagram, because the pentagram is the only completely golden shape, the golden geometric form. Because if we look at the shape of the pentagram, the golden mean ratios are implicit within it. The whole and the part, the relationships that they have to one another, relate perfectly to the golden mean. Now, the golden mean also relates very, very closely to the Fibonacci sequence, where we add, where we continue to add numbers, and we add the total to the last number is added to the total to give us the next number, and so on. And as we go on in the Fibonacci series, which goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, 34, and so on, as that Fibonacci series increases, so it equates more and more perfectly to the golden mean. So the golden mean is a Venusian phenomena. The Fibonacci sequence is a Venusian phenomena. And the Fibonacci sequence, of course, describes the way that nature grows. Nature grows in a Fibonacci sequence. If we look at plant growth, we can see it in the spiral shells. We can see it in a spiral galaxy. This spiral form that the Fibonacci sequence creates is completely synonymous with how nature grows, and it's perfectly in line with the Venusian phenomena, the golden mean, and so on. Now, if we look at the relationship between the Venus year and the Earth year, the Venus day and the Earth day, we're also looking at golden ratio or golden mean proportions. So the way that Venus moves, the way that she turns on her axis, the way that the relationship between the length of the Venus year and the length of the Earth year, these all have a golden relationship. So we can be in no doubt really that the way that the Earth and Venus are related has this golden proportion to it. It's in perfect harmony. The ancient Greeks built their temples according to this ratio. They knew about it. Without any doubt they knew about it, because we can see it, we can measure it, we can find it. We can find it in Renaissance art. We can find it in all kinds of aesthetic creations, where it's clear that the architect has sought to recreate a relationship which is implicit in nature, in the architectural form, or in the artistic form, so that somehow this helps to bring us into a relationship with nature. When you walk into a building which has been built on golden ratio principles, and I've done this, I can think of several buildings in the past where I've done this, you feel straight away that you're kind of in harmony. There's a natural relationship. There's an ease. There's a harmonic resonance. And I think this is because you're in touch with nature. So Venus, in some way, is teaching us how to live in harmony with nature, something which is so crucial for us now, of course, because we've fallen so far out of harmony with it. So Venus is really a gift to us. In some traditions, Venus is considered to be the sort of higher spirit, or the higher vibration of the earth, the twin soul of the earth. This makes perfect sense when we look at these proportions. So this year, 5th of June 2012, we have this opportunity to connect to Venus energy in a unique way. Now, normally, under normal circumstances, we cannot see the planet Venus. Of course, at the moment in the sky, here we are in the middle of March, and we can see Venus beautifully bright, close to Jupiter in the night sky. Many of us have been watching that. Last week we even had a conjunction, a couple of weeks ago, a conjunction with the Moon, which was so beautiful, with the Moon, Venus and Jupiter together. Now Venus over the next 3 months will gradually get closer to the Sun, and as she does, we'll see less and less of her until she disappears altogether as she moves into that conjunction. And then, for this brief few hours, she will pass directly across the face of the Sun. Unfortunately, in the UK, we're only going to see the very, very tail end of that, just as the Sun sets, and the very beginning. We're going to see the very beginning of it as the Sun sets, and the very tail end of it as the Sun rises on the morning of the 6th of June. You're going to have to get up very early in the morning, 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the morning is the only chance you're going to get to see the very end of this transit. And then, of course, in other places in the world, in North America, this will be visible, and further east, this will also be visible. And I'm sure it'll be streamed live on the internet from various locations as well, so there'll be a way of tuning into it during the night if you live in the UK. But during this period, what an opportunity we have to connect to this phenomenon. Venus is we sometimes refer to this retrograde conjunction where she does this very slow retrograde loop as her blessing the earth. We dance this pattern out sometimes as a group, and as we come in to make this conjunction where she's close to the earth, it feels as if she's blessing the earth. So here she is, not only on this occasion blessing the earth with this very kind of conscious, what seems to be a conscious honouring, like she's giving her love to the earth. But here, in this rare opportunity, we actually have an opportunity to see this, to witness it, to actually witness the majesty of her revealing herself at a time when normally she is hidden from us. The ancient Mesopotamians, who associated Venus with Ishtar or Inanna, believed that she entered the underworld when she became invisible to us in the night sky, when she went into her conjunction. So in a way we're also glimpsing Venus here in the underworld, where she restores her power, where Inanna descends to meet her dark sister Ereshkigal in the underworld. We're getting a glimpse of this, of Venus in her dark goddess feminine form, a rare and not to be underestimated power. So whatever we do over this period, over June the 5th and 6th, I'm really encouraging anyone who feels so inclined to really connect to Venus in whatever way that means, whether that's just contemplating the mythology, as we've mentioned there with Inanna, or Aphrodite, the Greek tradition, Venus, the Roman tradition. And just to connect to what it is, what beauty means for us, what harmony means for us in our own lives, how we can restore balance, how we can restore balance in our relationships, how we can make peace, how we can make amends, how perhaps we can forgive something, a deep hurt, if we could forgive that, or if we could just bring ourselves in some way into a right relationship in an important aspect of our lives. I think then we've then honoured the goddess at this important time. For myself, we're planning to hold an all-night vigil for Venus, where we'll have the transit streamed through the internet on a big screen, and we'll stay up through the night and just to be able to honour this, and we'll be doing various rituals and ceremonies in Glastonbury to honour this event. And I know there are many other events happening also around the world to honour this event. What an opportunity in 2012 for us to come together, to connect, to open our hearts to the soul sister of the earth. You can find details about my work at www.kairosastrology.co.uk. You can find out details of courses that I'm running. I teach astrology in Glastonbury. I teach 2 year-long courses. I also have a masterclass for astrological practitioners this year as well in Glastonbury. So you can find me again at that website, www.kairosastrology.co.uk.